as a virtual assistant, what can ChatGPT do? ChatGPT can do almost everything. If I ask ChatGPT, okay, I have to send an email to potential, storytelling coaching clients, and it should have, this, characteristics. So then, ChatGPT drafts an email. Now, these kind of things are huge time savers for MSMEs or SMEs, or maybe you can say professionals who cannot afford more expensive resources. So in that sense, I would say authors and speakers, they should use ChatGPT as a virtual assistant. People who have created a lot of data, a lot of content in the past, of course, ChatGPT has and Bard are very useful for such people, like demonstrated by my series.
I'm Jitendra Singh, banker turned entrepreneur and author of the book Pep Hack Mastering the Art of Selling. I welcome you to read my story where I interview authors, speakers, coaches, celebrities, entrepreneurs and more. Today I have with me Dr. Amit Nagpal. He is a former marketeer and a professional, has found his calling for business storytelling, specializing in brand storytelling, data storytelling and social media marketing through storytelling. With over 25 years of experience in brand management and media marketing across television, print and digital new media. He is also a published author of 4 books, including the Amazon's bestseller Personal Branding, Storytelling and Beyond. He strongly advocates for the power of digital and believes that stories are the most potent tool for building both brand and bonds. His journey from marketeer to professor to storytelling encapsulates his life story, and he actively engaged as a member of Delta Leaders Club, offering guidance to startups and the NASSCOM community. He has been coaching CXOs, tech entrepreneurs, startup founders, and coaches in personal branding and storytelling since 2012, while simultaneously training middle to senior management professionals and startup founders in various storytelling domains for more than a decade. With an impressive list of clients including Accenture, Tata Communication, Jaipur Rugs, STC India, AMA Herbal, Natural Remedies, ICF, Delhi and Mumbai chapters and more. Dr. Nagpal's expertise is highly sought after. As the founder president of Bloggers Alliance, a thriving community of bloggers and influencers with over 1,000 members, he actively mentors students from prestigious institutions, facilitates community building in India, including video bloggers, podcasters, and other digital creators, and devises strategies, plans for member outreach and learning, including events like Bloggers Meet, Twitter chats, and webinars. So today he will be discussing with us about his life journey. So let us hear from him. Welcome, Dr. Nagpal. The platform is open, and now over to you.
Thanks. Look forward to our discussions.
Thank you, sir, for coming. So first thing I'd like to know from you is how did your past life has affected the person you wanted to be in your life and what you are? So this is in relation to like when we were growing, we always have certain thoughts that what we want to be when we are grown up. So on the basis of that.
Yeah. So, one chairman of a company where I worked, he pointed out something interesting, which I had never thought of. So he said that, these young MBAs do not have any baggage like us. So they are open to, anything. They have not defined their limits. So if I express this idea in simple words, I would say experience gives us wisdom, experience gives us baggage. And it is very important to understand, our own baggage and get rid of that baggage if we want to fly in life. Because we will have negative experiences in life. We will have, our moments of hurt, pain, suffering, So coming out of that, learning from it and, using it for your growth is a very important thing, because all of us will go through, some negative experiences. 2 more things which I, would like to highlight here, maybe early lessons things which I learned childhood or young age. One was, take charge of your life and your story. You have to take, you can't depend that other people will make you successful or other people will, take charge of your life. So you have to take charge. You have to hold yourself accountable, responsible, for your life, your success, and ultimately, the story which you have to tell to the world. Another thing is, I think I learned it pretty early in life that obstacle is the path. Obstacles are part of life. So, right at the age of 6, I was wearing -6 spectacles, and of course, that created problems when it came to outdoor sports. So, I was more of a liability for the team, than a asset. So, and because I played outdoor sports very little, so the other option which was available to me was to read books. And then one day I realized, I have developed such good knowledge. I am always excelling in academics. So I would say unintentionally, I had turned an obstacle into an opportunity. So life will give us certain things, bless us with certain things, and life will not give us certain things. So rather than focusing on, what we do not have, we have to get the best out of what we have. Count our blessings and utilize our blessings to the best of our ability.
Right, rightly pointed out, sir. So, if I talk about things you are passionate in your life, so what are those things, and what is the role of motivation and inspiration onto it further?
Yeah, so if you ask me in one single word what I am most passionate about, I would say storytelling. I have discovered so many dimensions of storytelling. Stories can help us build bonds, stories can help build brands, stories can help us emotionally heal our baggage. Stories have so many applications that sometimes, I warn my interns, okay, you are doing a project on storytelling, but if you become an addict in storytelling, then don't blame me, because storytelling is so powerful.
Right.
So that is one. And answering the second part of your question, which you were saying, I would say I remember one very very famous quote of Zig Ziglar. People say that motivation doesn't last. That is why we recommend it daily. So I think he is very right that we need motivation every day, because we will have ups and downs every day. We will have some failure, some rejection, some expectation not being met. So we need inspiration every day. And in fact, I say that quotable quotes of famous people, successful people, our role models. They are they are like astronaut capsules. When people go to the moon, they take a capsule, and one capsule, the lunch is over. One capsule,
Right.
the dinner is. So these quotes are so powerful that if you read one quote and assimilate that quote in your life, your life will change.
That's really nice, sir. So, if I talk about your work and experiences, how you started your career, what all you did so far?
So I would say, like they say, you can only connect the dots backwards. So sometimes you don't understand. I remember at one point of time, I was telling my boss that I want to start a, education-related non-profit. This was 2009. But I don't know whether my life is taking me in the right direction. So that was my, comment with him. And he said, no, Amit, you will realize later that all the experiences which you need for your mission, for your goal, life is actually preparing you, for those, through the experiences which you require. And it, it turned out very correct, because I worked as a brand manager in a book publishing company as my first job, because I was very fond of brand management right from the beginning. I was fond of management consulting. I had bought, as an MBA student, I had bought a book on management consulting, and sometimes now I work in storytelling consulting with small and medium businesses, or coach individuals. So a lot of things, another example I can give, like I worked in a television channel for a few years, and because I had worked in that channel, it taught me the power of media. And I had a lot of friends who were journalists, though I was in the management, media marketing and media management side, but I had a lot of journalist friends because of my creative inclinations. So what happened was, I wanted to stay in touch with these friends, and when I from the corporate world, I shifted to teaching. So I decided, okay, I'll do my PhD in television news. I was in any case passionate about content and creativity, and through this, I would be able to stay in touch with all the great friends I had made. And that became another foundation for my career later, because my doctorate was on audience preferences for TV news channels, what subjects audience wants to watch, which is their favorite anchor. So and all those dimensions today help me a lot, because again, at Bloggers Alliance, our focus is content creation. So fundamentals of content creation remain the same. So yeah, that's it.
Right. So that's really nice to hear, sir. So if I talk about vision, mission, and goal in life for next 5 to 10 years, so what do you think that should be for you?
Yeah, I think vision is for the lifetime. So my vision is to become a creativity, especially digital content icon at India level. So that's the vision I have for myself. For Bloggers Alliance, of course, we want to build a community of content creators, and my goal there is to create a community of 1 lakh members by 2035, when I would partially retire at least. And mission, I would say, is to serve the digital creator community. We all would have experienced in some ways that, maybe 10 years ago, before the arrival of social media, if you were a creative person, monetizing your creativity was a tough job. If there were 1,000 music bands in a metro city like Delhi, only one would end up making money. Rest of them will shift to engineering or medicine or different professions. So now all kind of creativity has got options, monetizing through YouTube, becoming influencers. So many options are available for creative people to monetize their creativity. So that's serving the creator community, digital creator community is my mission.
Great, sir. Nice initiative. So, if I talk about the most important life lessons you have learned from your personal and professional journey so far, so what are those things?
So I think the most important lesson which comes out of obstacle is the path is perseverance. So or if I put it in, a Japanese proverb, through a Japanese proverb, there is a very interesting Japanese proverb which says, "Fall 7 times, stand up 8." So that means, after every time you fall, you have to stand up and get going again. So inspired by this, probably I had written a blog long back. So what if life slapped you hard? Get up and move on. So there you will make mistakes, you will make blunders. As a human being, you are bound to make mistakes, and you will have to brush your clothes off and move on in life. So that's a very important lesson. Besides that, like I said, obstacle is the path. Take charge of your life and your story, and whatever blessings you have in life, get the best out of them. Because if we understand our strengths, even what blessings we have received from our parents, what blessings we have received in terms of education, experience, how can I utilize those blessings to get the best result out of it. So I think these are some of the lessons I have learned in life.
Really nice, sir. So now we are moving on to the next session, which is related to your topic, which is really interest you have these days, and you are posting on to it on a regular note. So first question I'd like to ask you is, how has ChatGPT transformed writing and speaking for authors and speakers? Can you share some practical examples of its impact on storytelling and audience engagement?
Right. ChatGPT is a powerful tool. Somebody who's not even a writer, it can make that person, but that person can claim to be a writer. So that's the flip side also of ChatGPT. Because I will give you one example what I mean. So just 4 or 5 days back, Google Bard has launched a feature. They have gone multimodal, so you can upload an image and then ask Google Bard to describe the image. So in my case, I uploaded an image and asked Google Bard to create a story about that image, and I was literally shocked. It had written wonderful story about that image. So that kind of creativity AI tools have developed. Now the point is, how do authors, speakers, creators get benefit out of tools like ChatGPT. So personally, like this series which I'm doing right now, 51 tough questions I asked ChatGPT in 51 days. So that's a very interesting series because a lot of people have that fear that ChatGPT will take away my job as a content writer or blogger. But I have used ChatGPT for a very different purpose. Let's say it can be to collate my own content. I have been creating content for 13 years. So maybe I would have mentioned different, let's say, how to build your brand through storytelling. I may have written 100 blogs. Now ChatGPT picks out my own content from those 100 blogs, articles, websites, and then sums it up for me. So that's a very powerful feature for authors and speakers. Like for example, I've asked questions like ChatGPT, okay, tell me 20 storytelling tips based on the blogs and books of Dr. Amit Nagpal, and has given me wonderful answer, which I was surprised to read. In fact, some of the questions which were very very surprising, like I asked ChatGPT, rather Google Bard gave a better answer this time. So I asked Google Bard, okay, why does Amit Nagpal use Dr. Amit Inspires as a social media handle for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram? Now I was shocked. So it maybe gave a better answer than what I could have ever thought of. So maybe ChatGPT or Bard can help you in self-expression, in self-awareness. So this is a different dimension, which I wanted to bring to the notice of authors and speakers. And everybody is thinking, okay, ChatGPT can write blogs, ChatGPT can, become a thread. But this is a dimension, because somebody who has created a lot of content, reading my own 1,000 blogs and, drawing tips from that is humanly, either impossible or I will have to go for 3 months, into some resort and do it. So ChatGPT makes it simple. So this is one example. ChatGPT can give you, help you brainstorm. It can give you ideas. So I think especially authors should not, use ChatGPT for writing. They should use it, for example, for researching. Supposing I'm writing emerging trends in, business storytelling. Now ChatGPT can do the basic research and give that rough draft to me. Now then I have to add my experiences, I have to add my personal opinions, I have to my own experiences with my clients. So there is so much which we can, in fact, in simple words, at one of the panel discussions on ChatGPT, I expressed it in a very, very simple words for the audience. I said, ChatGPT, previously what content writers used to do was maybe go to Google, type the keywords, read 10 articles through Google, then write their blog. So in a way it was a khichdi of those 10 blogs. Unless you are interviewing someone or doing primary research, then it's a different thing. But usually this is what happens in content. So I said, so you were making khichdi, now ChatGPT is giving you ready-made khichdi. So what can you do? You can add some, pickles to it. You can add some namkeen to it. You can add some chutney to it. So you can make it. So when I say pickles, chutney, or I use same, so what I mean is maybe you can add emotional touch to it. Maybe you can use a more simplify the words and use it more simple language to understand. So you can take a rough draft from these tools and then make it more human, for example, more emotionally connecting, for example. Though these tools are also programmed to have conversations and create human kind of content, but that is still a long way to go. So you can really make it human. Another thing which I have been highlighting is that ChatGPT can tell you an imaginary story. ChatGPT told me a very interesting story about that image. But if I say, okay, ChatGPT, if I say that, okay, yesterday I had given a guest lecture at this college, so write a story on that. Cannot do it because it doesn't have the data. So that story I will have to write on my own. Now, when I have published that story, after 2 years, I can ask ChatGPT, okay, combine, collate all the learnings relating to LinkedIn from all my blogs and books. That ChatGPT can do well. So, that's my thought about it.
That's really interesting to know, sir, like how we can create more effective content by adding our personal touch, experiences, or like emotions or whatever like feelings we can attach to it. that can create the content which is created by ChatGPT or Bard or any other AI tool more meaningful and more like close to what we are about to write or should say on the content. So onto this further, like what tips can you offer to authors and speakers to use these new AI tools or language models like ChatGPT, Bard, while maintaining their unique style of writing? Are there any challenges to be aware of?
I think the challenge is not to become lazy. So I will tell you an interesting incident or discussion I had. So I have a cousin, Mama, in UK, and my Ishmat, he's my mother's cousin brother. So he told that British parents or British children are jealous of Indian children. You know why? Because a British student will even if the British student has to do 2 into 8, he will not be able to do it mentally and he will immediately take out a calculator. So, this is a kind of a bad habit in that sense that even simple calculations we become dependent on machines. So maybe for simple writing also we can become dependent on ChatGPT kind of tool. So that is the challenge, which is there. That is why academic institutions are discouraging ChatGPT I would say ChatGPT is, of course, it can become a liability for school children or young college children. So you have to be mature enough to take advantage of these kind of tools rather than becoming dependent on these kind of tools. From the tips point of view, I would say, for example, experiment with different prompts. Like it was an experiment. So when I asked ChatGPT, okay, why does he use Dr. Amit Inspires as a social media handle? So it was an experiment because I was not even expecting to get the right answer. And it gives me the answer. It is memorable. It represents Dr. Amit Nagpal's brand. It consists of Dr. Amit and Inspire. So that convinced me that AI tool definitely has some level of intelligence, because it is not just collating my data and giving it back to me. It is applying some level of intelligence to that data. So experimentation is important. Second thing I would say is, understand how to create the prompts. For example, your prompts need to be more specific. Like I will give you one simple example. So when I ask certain questions to these tools and I say, okay, tell me about the writing style of Dr. Amit Nagpal. Now there is another Dr. Amit Nagpal who is a retina specialist. There is a Dr. Amit Nagpal who is a physiotherapist. So it is likely to mix that data. So that data can mix. So what I do is, then in that case, I create a more specific prompt. Okay, Dr. Amit Nagpal, story coach or business storyteller. Then of course the data is much more correct. There are some errors also, which is another, I would say, do not depend 100% on ChatGPT. So you will have to check, cross check the data. You will have to cross check if everything is correct, because maybe a person with a similar name, like for example, one experience which I had was that when I asked ChatGPT about, okay, tell me which books has Dr. Amit Nagpal written, then it was telling somebody else's book as mine. So which we now call as AI hallucinations. So sometimes artificial intelligence tool can also mix up the data and which will ultimately create a hallucination or incorrect information. Now, when I'm doing this series, I have given a note at the end that misleading data has been removed, so that it doesn't appear that I am making some misleading claim about myself through those examples. So that's why some misleading data has been removed.
Right. So onto this further, sir, if I ask you, like, how does ChatGPT complement human creativity instead of replacing it? How can authors and speakers strike the right balance between using AI assistants and preserving their authenticity?
I would say, in fact, today is 21st July, and interestingly, there is an event today which has been organized by NASSCOM, and that event is how generative AI and ChatGPT is a part of generative AI, and how these tools can be used by small and medium businesses. So, a lot of these authors, speakers, and coaches may be running a small or medium-sized business. Now, some of them may not be, let's say, able to afford a very good secretary or executive assistant. So ChatGPT can become a great assistant for you. ChatGPT, I use ChatGPT more like a virtual, assistant, rather than, I don't very rarely, for maybe some, client blogs or something, we may create a rough draft to ChatGPT, but usually I use ChatGPT more as a virtual assistant. Now, as a virtual assistant, what can ChatGPT do? ChatGPT can do almost everything. If I ask ChatGPT, okay, I have to send an email to potential, storytelling coaching clients, and it should have, this, characteristics. So then, ChatGPT drafts an email. Now, these kind of things are huge time savers for MSMEs or SMEs, or maybe you can say professionals who cannot afford more expensive resources. So in that sense, I would say authors and speakers, they should use ChatGPT as a virtual assistant. People who have created a lot of data, a lot of content in the past, of course, ChatGPT has and Bard are very useful for such people, like demonstrated by my series. But people who have not, maybe somebody who has published his first book, 1 year back, they can also, let's say, for example, let's say you go and ask ChatGPT, okay, tell me 10 tips on public speaking based on Robin Sharma's work. And ChatGPT will tell you the essence of Robin Sharma. Now, there is an ethical issue here. So, there is some court case going on against ChatGPT, because ChatGPT, now we do not have the transparency in the system, in sense of, if ChatGPT has used some books with Google Lens or through those tools, if some books have been scanned. So the people whose content has been used, some of these people have been, paid their bigger organizations, they have paid the money. But for individuals, some, for example, two authors have filed a case that, how can ChatGPT tell the summary of my book without reading my book? So that means it has read my book, and I have not been given any, compensation for that. So those issues are also going on. And I think every author, every content creator needs to be financially compensated, as well as credited that, okay, this data comes from this source, which probably ChatGPT kind of tools may have violated. Now, Google may have a different kind of, for example, Google has its own YouTube. Google has its own blogger. So I have written a lot of blogs on Blogger. So when I am going to Google Bard, it is reading my blogs, which have been published on Google. So on which Google, shares whatever copyright thing they have. So I do not maybe have the 100% copyright to it. And, Google may have access to the data which I have published on Google, because these social media companies have those clauses in their, agreements. So, these are some of the issues which I wanted to highlight.
Right. Interesting, sir. And there are so many things which can be done through these AI tools, which is really effective. And it also depends how we use it and what is the purpose for the usage. And we can customize according to the same. So now coming back to you again, sir, if I ask you, like, what is your take on success and what do you think or believe about it?
Success reminds me of 2-3 very interesting things. One, of course, is success can make you happy, satisfied, or success can make you paranoid. If you get too attached to success, your whole identity comes out of your success, not out of your mission and purpose in life, then you can become paranoid about losing that success. So a lot of people, actually talk about their paranoia. There is a, interesting proverb that success gives you, fake friends and true enemies. So, I think you should, focus on enjoying the journey rather than waiting for the destination, because destination may not be as, happy and satisfying as you were expecting it to be. Maybe, sometimes you will have to meet people you are not very fond of meeting. Sometimes you will have to do a lot of adjustments, and, so you will have to pay a price for success in different ways.
Correct. Rightly pointed out. So, sir, in last, any message or advice you would like to share with our viewers and listeners?
I would say, like the LinkedIn newsletter which I published, we have given it a title, your story is your brand. So tell stories where you share your human vulnerabilities, you share your struggles, you share your failures, you give an example to other people that, okay, I failed, I got up, and then I succeeded. So number one, you sound more human, and this kind of a story becomes more inspirational. So sometimes when I'm teaching these kind of subjects, so I ask the participants, okay, if I tell you that there is this XYZ who is the son of a very rich father, and he goes and studies at a top MBA school in US, and then comes back and father gives him 100 crores to start a factory, and then he becomes a successful entrepreneur. Is there something inspiring in this story? Of course, there is nothing inspiring. So inspiration comes from the struggle, which you go through, and then you inspire other people also to, succeed in spite of the odds.
Right. That's really important and interesting also, because we see inspiration from the struggle of other people, not from the easy way through. If they got the journey easy way through, so we don't get inspired from those type of journeys. Rightly point out, sir. So I must say the discussion we had today was really amazing. You have shared so many practical examples of how things can be more meaningful, and while using these AI tools, we can definitely take help to understand what is happening around us. We can take their help to write a content also. But we should use it in a justification that we are taking their help only, not the final outcome we would be posting. And we can add whatever thoughts we have, whatever emotions we have, or the story we have around the topic which we are writing. So that can really be an interesting thing to add on, and that can create a connect with the user and the author or writer, so that can build that connection. So I think you rightly pointed out on this thing. We should use it properly, and it will be helpful. Thank you so very much, sir, for your time, and you have shared so many wonderful things about ChatGPT and Bard, how we can use them. Thank you so much once again.
Welcome, Stan. It was pleasure talking.
And also, I will share your social media along with the interview, sir, so that people can be in touch with you, take your help and guidance. So, guys, don't forget to check that out too. Thank you so very much, everyone, for watching and listening. I hope you all must have gathered a lot of information and enjoyed watching it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a good day. Thank you, and bye bye.